hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. I just want to protect her, I don't want her to go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. I decided to stop because I felt like I was dying. My security and stuff were coming into the room at night to check my pulse. People don't know how serious it got.
Severe trauma growing up as a kid. I mean, the decision to write it, was it an easy one to decide to write it?
I've been telling my story for a really long time and sharing it since before Justin started his career. And
Sorry, Justin.
He was 12 by the time I let him hear my story.
Justin Bieber's father, Jeremy Bieber, was a somewhat controversial figure during Justin's early rise to fame. Jeremy was not always present in Justin's childhood, as he and Justin's mother, Patty Millett, split up shortly after Justin was born. Patty largely raised Justin as a single mother, with Jeremy maintaining a more inconsistent presence. When Justin Bieber's career skyrocketed, and he found himself in the intense spotlight at a very young age, Jeremy was part of Justin's life, often seen accompanying him at various events. However, his role as a father figure during this period was frequently questioned. Jeremy had a reputation for being more of a friend or buddy to Justin than a traditional parental figure, which led to criticism, especially during Justin's teenage years, when he was involved in a series of high-profile incidents. The moment you mentioned Justin partying with Diddy, Sean Combs, at around 15, is often cited as an example of the lack of boundaries that surrounded him during his rise to fame. It's not clear where Jeremy was at that specific moment, but it is known that he had been part of Justin's entourage, traveling and spending time with his son, yet sometimes contributing to the lenient environment that allowed Justin to engage in adult activities. The lack of strict supervision and a steady parental presence, combined with the pressures of fame, are believed to have played a role in some of Justin's well-documented struggles during his teenage years.
We talked about Justin's father, but what about his mother, Patty Millett? Patty, Justin's mother, was more cautious about his behavior and career trajectory. She raised Justin as a single parent, with a strong emphasis on faith and values. As Justin's fame grew, she expressed concerns about the environment he was exposed to, including the pressures of the entertainment industry. Patty was not always directly involved in his day-to-day life once he became famous and started touring, partly because she did not want to interfere too heavily in his career, and because Justin was starting to assert his independence. Her influence waned as Justin's circle of friends and entourage grew, and as he began spending more time with his father. Justin first met Diddy when he was just breaking into the music scene after being discovered by his manager, Scooter Braun, through his YouTube videos. At that time, Justin's talent was starting to generate buzz, and many big names in the music world took notice, including Diddy. In fact, Diddy was one of the early celebrities to acknowledge Justin's potential, inviting him to come by and hang out, a gesture that thrilled the young pop star. Diddy was known for his lavish lifestyle and high-profile parties, representing a side of the music industry filled with luxury, fame, and intense social scenes. This appealed to Justin, who was a teenager experiencing sudden stardom and wealth. Their meeting wasn't just about a casual introduction, it was symbolic of Justin's entry into the upper echelons of the entertainment world. Diddy even promised Justin a Lamborghini when he turned 16, which became a famous story among fans and the media.
Alright, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16, you come down and you gotta,
This offer was a playful acknowledgement of Justin's growing stardom and his association with figures like Diddy, who were known for living extravagantly. One of the most talked about moments of Justin's connection with Diddy occurred when Justin, at just 15, was seen hanging out with Diddy at a party. According to reports, the young star was present at a gathering where there were other big names in the industry, and the atmosphere was very adult. Diddy later stated in interviews that he had no idea how young Justin was at the time, suggesting that Justin's rapid rise and mature demeanor made it easy for him to blend into these kinds of settings, despite his age. Justin Bieber's story in the music industry is a cautionary tale about the dangers of fame, especially when it comes at a young age. His experience highlights the importance of mental health, the need for a stable support system, and the damage that can be done when childhood trauma is left unresolved. As Justin grew older, he reflected on his teenage years and his interactions with influential figures like Diddy. Diddy's presence in Justin's early career can be seen as a double-edged sword. On one hand, he provided Justin with a glimpse into the world of successful music and celebrity culture, encouraging him to think bigger and use his fame as a platform for greater success. On the other hand, the partying and lack of limits contributed to Justin's early struggles with fame, leading him down a path of experimentation, indulgence, and ultimately personal crises. He acknowledged how overwhelming the pressure and exposure to fame were at such a young age. In interviews, he sometimes hinted at how easily he could have gone down a darker path, given the influences and freedoms he had during his early career. Justin has been open about his struggles with drug addiction, which, he says, began around the age of 19. He admitted to using substances like marijuana, lean, a codeine-based drink, and prescription pills to cope with the pressure, stress, and loneliness he felt. The substances became an escape from the overwhelming anxiety and depression he was experiencing. In interviews, he revealed that at one point, his drug use was so severe that his security team had to check his pulse at night to ensure he was still breathing. Justin has described feeling empty and unfulfilled despite his immense success. He dealt with trust issues, the burden of constant judgment, and the feeling of being exploited by the industry. The lack of a normal childhood, combined with the relentless pressures of fame, created a toxic environment that exacerbated his mental health struggles. Justin's parents, particularly Jeremy, were sometimes seen enjoying the perks of their son's success rather than setting protective limits. Allowing Justin to attend high-profile parties at a young age gave him access to situations that most teenagers would never encounter. These environments often lacked the necessary adult guidance and boundaries that someone his age needed. Justin has spoken about the intense pressure he felt as a young star, suggesting that he lacked the kind of emotional support and protective oversight that could have helped him navigate fame more safely. While Patty was initially concerned about his well-being, she found herself less involved as Justin's fame grew, leading to feelings of helplessness. As Justin grew older, the consequences of this early exposure became apparent. He struggled with substance abuse, mental health challenges, and public breakdowns, all while being constantly scrutinized by the media. His erratic behavior and rebellious phase were signs of deeper emotional struggles, many of which he later attributed to the pressures of his early fame and the lack of a stable support system. Justin has since acknowledged the impact of his childhood and the lack of adequate parental guidance during his formative years in the industry. His parents, too, have reflected on their choices. Jeremy Bieber has admitted to making mistakes and expressed regrets about some of the decisions made when Justin was younger. He's mentioned how proud he is of Justin's growth, but there's an acknowledgement that boundaries were not always enforced when they should have been. Patty Millett has also spoken about the challenges of raising a child star and the pressures she faced as a young mother navigating an unfamiliar and overwhelming industry. She has been candid about feeling sidelined and powerless at times, especially as Justin asserted more independence and became influenced by the world of fame. In a prison interview with Michael Franzese, Suge Knight claimed that Diddy sexually abused Usher and Justin Bieber. He stated that these actions were not a secret, alleging that many of Diddy's associates knew about it. Knight said, "Everyone knows what Puffy did. No one was unaware that Puffy was involved with Usher. What they did to Justin Bieber was heartbreaking. They had sexual relations with him, and I hate to say that because I really like Justin Bieber and feel sorry for him." Knight went on to describe Diddy's alleged inappropriate behavior with Bieber, suggesting that he could have achieved great success if not for the negative influence of drugs and older men. He criticized the idea of grown men partying with a young boy, saying that it was unhealthy and wrong. He pointed out that Diddy allowed older men to take Bieber on trips without any women around, which he felt looked bad and was sad. These allegations come amid a broader wave of scrutiny toward Diddy, with other accusations surfacing in recent months concerning his behavior and professional practices. Despite the gravity of Knight's claims, representatives for Diddy have firmly denied the allegations, calling them unequivocally false. Justin Bieber himself has not publicly commented on these specific allegations, but he has been seen avoiding questions and generally maintaining a low profile amidst the renewed media attention. Patty Millett and Jeremy Bieber have faced criticism for their failure to adequately protect him from the chaotic and adult-oriented world he was thrust into by figures like Diddy. At the height of Justin's fame as a teenager, he was exposed to a lifestyle filled with excess, partying, and celebrity-driven pressures, much of which came from interactions with Diddy and other high-profile industry figures. Critics have argued that Justin's parents, especially his father, were often too lenient or distracted, failing to enforce necessary boundaries when Justin became part of these adult circles. While Patty Millett was a devoted and involved mother in the early years, as Justin grew older and became more independent, she found herself sidelined as he sought the freedom and validation that came with celebrity status. Jeremy, on the other other hand, was sometimes seen as more of a friend to Justin rather than a parental figure, enjoying the perks of his son's fame and not stepping in to prevent him from engaging in risky behavior. The combination of Justin's early exposure to the industry's excesses, coupled with a lack of strong parental oversight, led to his struggles with substance abuse, mental health issues, and public controversies during his teenage years. While both parents have since expressed regret over their roles, especially as Justin faced public backlash and personal turmoil, the lack of protective guidance at a critical stage in his life remains a significant factor in his early challenges.